Starting. There we go. All good.
All right. Good afternoon and welcome to MS Office Hours for Security. We are going to go over some new features that probably are already in your tenant that you may not know about. And I know from previous experience, this one is going to hit home with a few people. Defender for Endpoint has new suppression experience, and this experience is pretty slick. The advantage to this is that there are certain things in every organization is different, so take that and work with it. The issue is that in some organizations you need to you know about certain alerts that come across your desk, but they don't really need to be handled. You just need, it's okay, they're out there, right? And in those cases, then, well, you want to take care of them. You just don't want to leave them hanging out there. This is the methodology that has come to light. So the first thing is, let's talk about where we're at and where we're going. So in the old method, suppression rules, Defender for Endpoint lets you create suppression rules for specific alerts, and you know those to be, alerts that you don't really need. They're innocuous. They're process tools in your organization that you get alerted on all the time. You need to create suppression rules. It's a little not as granular in the current methodology. And so you want to do that, but you don't want to miss any important alerts that you also have. So you need to be careful with that. You can turn off those rules and restore suppression alerts back to the queue if you're needed. You don't lose any data, and it doesn't stop any process. The beauty of that is that in the things I show you, we'll see how that goes. So currently, let's look at and see how that works in the previous methodology. I took a couple screenshots to make this go a little quicker. But as we all know, this is kind of a standard investigative process that we go through. And in this case, we're having some PowerShell, and we have observed this malicious file. And in this case, we want to set up a suppression rule for that. It's something we know about in our environment. This suppression rule goes in, allows you to name that exe, put it in as a file name, the folder path, its SHA, and you want to automatically resolve that alert. In the scope section, you'll notice that you have the ability to do device groups. Now, for those of you that haven't used device groups, pretty neat feature, and I think you're going to want to start using it after you see this new method. You can do this alert suppression on a single device, all alerts, or in devices in a group, so a very specific set per se. You can provide a name, comments, and the rule is applied. Not a big deal. We talked about it briefly about alert suppression, and those can be found in the settings in your console. And those are in here so that you can take a look at that, how many matching alerts there are, what the last activity is, who the alert was created by, and so on. You can dive into that for more details. Once you select an alert like that, you can go ahead and, hey, restore the alerts to the new alerts queue and assign them to me, right? So that's kind of where we're at. Now, that's pretty easy, right? That's what you've probably already been doing if you've been using suppression rules. The new methodology and the experience is a little bit different. This can go for any alert type, functionality change. You can support more IOCs, and we'll talk about that in a second. But so AMSI, content, WMI, scheduled tasks. You can also target the parent process properties. The advantage to this is that, well, I need to be careful. I want to be very selective in how I do this. So we give you complex conditions and/or in groupings. We also have the autofill to generate rule conditions based on the detection structure that you're actually putting this in. So, I'll show you the demo in a second. You can scope these through users or multiple devices, talked about groups, right? And you can link the suppression experience to the allowed list. So let's pause this for a second, go into a little bit of a demo. And I'm going to start out by showing you a couple things. First of all, this is the alert screen that you normally see. And you'll notice this is an unsanctioned cloud app access was blocked. For those of you that don't know, Defender for Endpoint works hand in hand with Defender for Cloud Apps. In Defender for Cloud Apps, you can pick a very specific site or a URL and unsanction that application, as I've done here with Facebook. This allows you to go ahead and fine-tune your organization for what's allowed and what's not allowed. I've filtered this, but you can use this on the entire catalog. My users are in here. These are the sites my users are going to, but I can also proactively go into the Cloud App catalog and selectively sanction or unsanction apps that I find either not valuable in my environment or things that I don't want them to go there. Okay, so it gives that advantage. So back to the alerts to understand what that's about. And as you expand out that particular alert, you get this investigation panel. This gives you everything you need to know about that. And as you scroll down on the side, you can see more details. Obviously, this was a custom threat intelligence. And I've gone through my IT admin, Bruno. He was trying to go to Facebook, right? And I don't want to allow that. So in this case, I can actually perform the new suppression rule. And in this case, I don't want just any IOC. I want very specific. So in this case, it's auto-filled the trigger to equals any. And I can add an additional filter in here. And in this case, it's pretty easy because my URL property, come here. Click that. There we go. Okay, there we go. Automatically fills that in, so I get that filter in there. That allows me to go ahead and do that. In my case, only on device groups, which my device groups are broken up between my Windows 10 and servers. I don't want servers to be going to Facebook, and I want to be alerted about that. But in this case, any Windows 10 box that goes there, I don't really need an alert. In fact, I don't even need you to resolve the alert. I just need you to hide the alert. I don't want to see it at all. So this gives you a little bit of flexibility. You can go through in each one of these and add additional filters. In my case, I have other URLs. And in this case, I'm going to say, nah, that's also a Facebook URL. Okay, so I can do that. Now, I've included other IOCs in my environment, but I can create these at a very granular rule. I can also get rid of some of these, and if I want to, and group them into one single alert, where I group multiple IOCs based on URLs that I'm suppressing and functionality. Now, one of the other ones that I did, we'll just hop out of here. And I will show you in the settings under endpoints. I have my indicators. And over here, you can see the URLs that I've already set up. In this, I've done block extension, unsanctioned apps were included, right? And so this gives you the ability to do Facebook and whatever. I've also placed TikTok on that list, so they can't go there either. Now, that one wasn't generated from Cloud App Security. I added it manually. So you can do it either way. But as long as they're in this list, you can use those in your filtering. So let's finish up with a few better PowerPoint slides than I could produce in the demo. And this is a major one. This is actually what it looks like with advanced grouping turned on. This gives you the ability to add multiples to very granularly allow this specific filter down to whatever level you need. You can add it an and or an or across here, as you can see in this one, and you can pull those into adding subgroups as well. Allows great functionality, and it should be rolling out to your tenants soon. If you don't have it already, it will be coming, trust me. And I think that's about it. Any questions?